Welcome back to another episode of the Business Hour. I'm sitting here with Nikki Estrada, the founder and owner of the Sweet Event Cupcakes. Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, I wanted to bring Nikki onto the show because Nikki works in 9 to 5 in local government, and she's also got a successful cupcake catering business on the side. So, Nikki, do you want to tell us when you started and how you got started?
Yeah, of course. So it'd be 4 years now. I started, I guess my sister was having my nephew. She couldn't find anyone to bake, and I just gave it a shot. Had no baking skills whatsoever. It's funny because I'm actually allergic to eggs, wheat, and dairy. So when I tell people that, they're a bit, shocked because I've been baking for so long. And yeah, I guess that's where it came into fruition when people would ask from events, do you do this full time or a side business? And I guess it just came from there and just doing that and getting word of mouth and getting clients and customers from there. It gave me the idea to start it full time.
So you can't actually taste what you're baking?
Hardly ever. So it's literally, I just wing it and I just go by what my family and customers say. And I guess I'm doing well because it's been 4 years. So
Wow. You've been one of our clients for like 4 years. I had no idea.
Yeah, not many people do, and it's funny because I always get a good laugh out of it because they just like your action, like what? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm lactose tolerant. I'm sensitive to wheat, and I'm actually allergic to eggs. So,
like to put that in perspective, that would be like me printing and designing and being colorblind.
Pretty much, yeah. If you put it, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how did? Yeah, you caught me completely off guard. I wasn't prepared for that one. How did you grow your business? So you had your first client, your sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how did you, like, at what point did you say there's a need for this in the market?
Yeah. Definitely. I think it first started with my sister's baptism for my nephew, the baby shower, then his first birthday. So then it'd always be at those events. I'd get family or friends asking, do you do this full time? And said, no, I'm still working full time, but I can make these for you. And then it would grow from there and word of mouth. And that's, I just guess, how I built it from there was just word of mouth and starting from something small and biting the bullet and being like, let's just see where it goes. And here I am now. So, yeah.
Okay, so that was 4 years ago and it sort of grew from word of mouth. And when did you decide to formalize it, like with your business name? And
I was a customer that was from Clayton Hospital, and back then I was still very new, and it was such a large order, they needed an ABN and everything needed to be registered, and that's when I said, all right, this is growing, this is getting something big, and that's when I knuckled down, did a lot of research on what I needed to do, registered my name, my kitchen, make sure everything, all the dots and crosses were tied, and make sure everything was formalized because I knew, wow, I'm getting customers. If it's going to big names, I need to make sure that I'm covered.
Yep.
So that's when I knew this is something that's that's going to grow.
And so when you started, a lot of it was word of mouth and referral.
Mm-hmm.
What about today? How did most of your clients find you now?
Still a lot of word of mouth and referrals, but I find social media is massive. Instagram especially, I find that's a big help in my business. Not so much Facebook, I find, but I do find my own personal account and my Instagram account is my best market. Is just pumping out everything. I do a lot of behind the scenes when I'm baking after work, and on the weekends I post a lot of things. I tell people contact me for custom dessert. So it's all just comes down to social media and just having a good I guess idea of when to post and what people like and engage with. I think's really helped.
Talk to us about your Instagram following and how you started that and how you grew that.
Yeah. So it was literally when I started, it was just friends and family. And then just being really, I guess, smart and researching on your social media hashtags. Because, when I looked at it from a customer's point of view, if I'm organizing a party and I search cake, it's going to bring cakes from all around the world. So you've got to really narrow it down to, so if you're in Melbourne, if you're Sydney, Queensland or whatnot, so if I'm in Melbourne, I put Melbourne cupcakes, Melbourne cake, because then those customers will search Melbourne and cupcakes. And another tip I always say, in your bio, put your state and what business you are. So if you notice mine, it says Melbourne cupcakes and desserts. So when you're in that search field, when you're typing Melbourne or cupcakes, your business is there. That's another tip I say is really use Instagram and social media to your advantage because it's free tools, you know, and it will help you if you do the right research and you know really narrow it down. So have your state, have your suburb. If you're doing apparel, you know, do Melbourne clothing, Melbourne t-shirts. It's just really be pedantic of what you use. It really helps.
Do you spend money on social?
I do sometimes,
Yeah.
but I find it's just for me, it's not worth the investment
Yeah.
because the way I guess it is working when you promote it, it's getting customers that are from different, not from Vic Melbourne, so it doesn't benefit me, you know. So I've tried to do sponsored posts and it helps sometimes, but it doesn't capture the right audience I want. So you know, for me, that's a learning lesson that it's not worth the investment. So I guess you just got to know how to use it. But I don't really, you know, use it that often.
Yeah.
But like everyone's different.
And I noticed, so your Instagram's got like 4,700.
Yes, about that. Yep. So my goal is I'd love to reach. My goal's 1K each year. You know, so
Yep.
slow and steady, organically. So this year will be my 4th year. So
Yep.
I'm close to 5K. So that's over my goal. So
Yep.
that'll be a good achievement for me as well. So
Yeah.
always believe just have a goal, set many goals, and you know, little by little you'll get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your photos look very similar, and they look. It's like it almost looks fake. That's how good. That's how good it looks. Like the space between the cupcakes, the lighting.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get that the same every time?
I think it just comes down to having OCD. You know, I joke sometimes and just being
Okay.
really pedantic, and I've always just stuck with, you know, just that white background. I take my photos in like some daylight and that's it. Like I don't have a studio, I don't have nothing. I have an old Samsung camera and just lighting and that's it. And it's just, I've got a really strong aesthetic eye and I'm just very picky with how I lay out my Instagram social media because I found even when I'm looking at social media, the first thing I look at is, you know, the bio and then the photos. And if it doesn't look appealing, I just swipe to the next, you know. So I think it just comes down to what do consumers and customers like, and I put myself in their shoes and I knew if I stuck to a certain style and a theme, you know, that'll grow my following, and it has, and it's worked.
Yep. And from an outsider's perspective as well, that I think if I see one of your photos amongst like 20 cupcake photos, I know that that's yours because
thank you.
I know exactly how they look because it's so consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that a lot of businesses just in general lack, that consistency for people to be able to so easily identify that has originated from that particular business.
Yes.
So tell me about juggling a 9 to 5 with this on the side.
This question, it always gets me because I honestly don't know how to answer it. I think because I love and enjoy baking so much, it just doesn't cross my mind that I still work a 9 to 5. But in saying that, it is a lot of time and commitment. You know, there's mornings I get up at 4 or 5 just to do my emails, invoicing, you know, then I get ready for work at 7 and then I work my normal 9 to 5 and then it's straight after work. It's back on emailing or it's doing my baking and doing prep. So predominantly my busiest days are after work Friday, Saturday and Sunday because most events run on that. So, you know, it's just a lot of time and be very organized. You know, my calendar is completely booked. Like I've always got things. If I forget something, I just pop it in my notepad or a calendar. It's just being very planned, and it's been hard. But I think if it was easy, everyone would have a side hustle and a side business. You know, you've just got to really just hustle and just work really hard.
Yeah. And at what point do you decide that this is taken over, like your passion's taken over so much that you've got to leave your 9 to 5?
I think I'm at that point now, but it's just. I'm still so happy with my full-time job that I haven't had that epiphany yet where I've thought, okay, this is time. But I've given myself, excuse me, my goal is, you know, by 30. So that's 2 years, you know, and I think having goals in mind that will help me be more structured and plan because I think taking that risk, it's not easy. So just having goals, I think, and I know when my time will be right. So just take that risk and be like, I'm all in. This is full-time. So that is my end goal to do this full-time.
Yep. Yeah, cool. And I guess that gives you 2 years to put things in place between now and then to get things going. And how do you, like I know that you've had some celebrities. My wife actually told me you had a model.
Shanina? Victoria's Secret?
Yeah.
So that was a few years ago. I have done a few, I guess, bloggers and, you know, celebrities, and it's so humbling, you know, because I just look at myself like I'm just a home baker, you know, and I think going back to the other question, social media has been a massive platform for me, you know. using Instagram hashtags and, putting Melbourne and cupcakes and desserts, that's brought people to my page. And it's, it's such a humbling feeling. And it's just when I work for people like that have got big names, big celebrities, it's like, wow, like they're noticing me, someone that just does a normal, works for a normal kitchen. It's really humbling,
Yep.
and it's things like that. I think that make me keep pushing to work harder, because if people are noticing me, it's a big thing. So
yeah, I'm still trying to process the part where you said that you can't actually eat what you're making.
Yeah.
Like, how do you come up with the flavors? Like, you asked me what flavor I wanted, I'm like, I don't know, and then we're going through flavors. I'm still trying to process. If you can't taste it,
Yeah.
how do you come up with these flavors?
I think it's just, again, feedback I get from, like my customers and my family and my friends, and just asking them, does it taste good? Like, does it taste all right? Because I could eat it, but I just get sick, and it's not, but I think it's just believing in my product that, look, I can't taste it all the time, but I know it's going to taste good. I know that works for me. And I just getting, asking people what it tastes like, I just seem to be doing well 4 years later.
Yeah.
So.
And I think we sort of skipped over this, but
yeah.
You said that you didn't know how to bake. So how did you actually learn how to bake?
Oh gosh, I think YouTube, reading recipe books, and I just had to do it. And I just tried it. And I remember I laugh all the time when I tell people, like, first time I tried making cupcakes, like, they're meant to be blue and they were green, and it's like things like that. And it's like, oh my God, how do I get it blue? And it's just, going back to the writing board. Okay, let's, how do you fix it? And it's just practicing and practicing. And I look back, 4 years ago, I didn't know how to bake. I can't even eat half the stuff. And it was just, just try and keep trying, and, just get to where you are. And just, YouTube videos, read, just keep practicing. Just keep practicing.
So you never went to school or did a course?
Never did a course, never baked, nothing. No one in my family is a really big baker.
Yeah.
So it was just literally doing it my own and just trial and error, really.
Yeah. Cool.